We regret to announce the death of our beloved Martin Satney of Casamance, Grosvenor. He passed away on Wednesday, 15 January 2025, at the age of 65. A patriotic St. Lucian who served in numerous capacities, including Chairman of Consumer Protection Council, Lecturer of Monroe College, past project manager of the Drainage and Land Conservation Program, past science teacher at the Corinth Secondary School, past officer in charge of Wasco and Sewage Authority WASA, past general manager of Wasco, past permanent secretary in the Ministry of Physical Development, Environment and Housing, past permanent secretary in the Ministry of Agriculture, Forestry and Fisheries, lead coordinator for the project to save the banana industry from the black Sicotoca disease, past chairman of the St. Lucia Solid Waste Management Authority, past president of the St. Lucia Civil Service Association. He played an instrumental role in the inscription of the Pitons as UNESCO World Heritage Site, past chairman of the Piton Management Area Advisory Committee, member of the Association of Professional Engineers of St. Lucia, former director of the St. Lucia Civil Service Cooperative Credit Union Limited, Jeannot Credit Union, former council member of the St. Lucia National Trust, former relations officer of the St. Lucia Labour Party on agricultural policy, past director of First National Bank, past director of MBC, member of the Public Service Appeal Board, member of the Cuban Association, a veteran champion tennis player. Left to mourn his wife, Virginia Satney, retired teacher, Ave Maria Infant School and Dame Paulette Louise Primary School. His two sons, Marvin Satney and Kevin Satney of Casamance, Grosvenor. One adopted son, Donovan Foster in the U.S. One and only grandson, Soleil Satney Lucien. His sisters, Marilyn Noble in Soufre and Caroline Noble in the U.S. One brother, Lorenzo Noble in Soufre. His aunts, Christine and Bertha Cornell of the U.S. His godchild, Ariel Noble. Uncles, Edison Andrew of Dare4 Castries, Nicholas Andrew in St. Croix, and Bernard Cornell in the U.S. Nieces, Zeta Fatal in Soufre, Brittany and Dimples Noble in Lafargue Choiseul. Nephews, Dwight Noble in Canada, Lynchus and Davidson Noble in Soufre, Tristan and Eden Noble in Lafargue. Close cousins, Jonathan Regis of the U.S., Francis James, better known as Hazel of Granivier Grosselet, Karine Cadant of Corinth, Lorna Andrew of Cedars Castries, Ingrid Joseph and Gloria Joseph in the U.S., Dr. Lindell Joseph Guadalupe in the U.S., Nelka Cornell in the U.S., Mrs. Andruna Gill of Cubarel Castries, Abby Cornell in St. Thomas, Bertram Cornell in the U.S. Brothers-in-law, Johnny Nestor of Timon Union, Albert Nestor of Montjacques Choiseul. Sisters-in-law, Vicky Nestor of Corinth, Pamela Aldonza of Cedar Heights, V4. Cherished friends and relatives, Melina Stanislas and her family in the U.S., Stellina Best of Cap Estate, Nella Alexander, Mr. and Mrs. Xavier of Carabel Gardens, Castries, Florentina Nelson, better known as Joan of Bella Rosa Road, Grosselet, Mrs. Nicolina Felix and family, Ursula Bowery and family in the UK, Cleo Shingleford of the UK, Miss Bertha Charlery and family in the UK, Dr. Almus McDowell, Mr. Ignatius Jean, Ed Harris, Renix Aldonza of Cedar Heights, V4, David Hippolyte, Gilroy Satney of Cedar Heights V4, John Satney, Andrew Satney, better known as Ozzy, Mr. Jim Joseph of Bon Séjour, Mrs. Frances Jabatis of Floralite Bridal, his tennis partners, George Lucien Jabatis, Keith Noel, and Curtis Haynes, the 1980-1986 cohort of Cuban students, other close families, the Nestor family in Choiseul and Castries, the Aldonza family of Cedar Heights V4, Satney family in Millet and Dennery, the Andrew family, Joseph family, Cadet family, King family of Castries, the Lamontagne family in Suffre, the Xavier family, the Regis family in Millet, Margaret Ann and Johann Burton of the UK, the Emmanuel family of Choiseul and Castries. His neighbors in Casablanca including Leonette Pierre, Edisha Xavier, Mr. and Mrs. Pierre, Irma and Stephen de Turville, Mr. Barrow. Members of the St. Lucia Labour Party, especially Honorable Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre, Honorable Moses Jabatis, and Honorable Kenson Casme and his team. Many other relatives and friends, too numerous to mention. The funeral service for the late Martin Satney will be held on Thursday, 13 February 2025 at the St. Joseph the Worker Church in Grosley at 2:30 p.m., and the body will be interred at the Grosley Cemetery. May his gentle, loving soul rest in peace. The body now lies at Lazarus Funeral Home, Vidbote, Castries. The funeral service will be streamed live on Media Central on YouTube.